By forever, 1 hour, Nikola Tesla, Shakespearean, Stephen Hawking, Einsteinian, poetry, master, rapper, freestyler, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate, and rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease have all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and too often is its gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature's changing course and trimmed. By thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in its shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Love is not love which alters, and when alteration finds or bends with the remover to remove, oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It is a star to every wandering bark whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass. Love alters not with this his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white when then her breasts are done. If hairs by wires, black wires grow on her head, I have seen roses deep damasked. Wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see in her cheeks, and in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground, and yet by heaven, I think my love is as rare as any she bellied with faults compare, which is fluent rapper's despair. Well, there if I go spitting, rapping, don't you know? As sophisticated vocabulary, these men and equinocumented education, my psychological hospitality, and elaborate understanding, cool adamant, randomly contractually, incoherently renewed, children, subsidiariness, recoveries, docetism, infinitism, giantism of syllabalism. When we speak of man, we have a conception of humanity as a whole, and before applying scientific methods to the investigation of his movement, we must accept this as a physical fact. But can anyone doubt today that all the millions of individuals and all the innumerable types and characters constitute, playing the flute, an entity of unit, spirit, though free to think and act, we are all held together, rapper forever, like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable, razzle-dazzle. These ties cannot be seen, but we can feel them. I cut myself in the finger, rapper forever, and that pains me. This finger is part of me. I see a friend hurt, and it hurts me too. My friend and I are one, and now I see stricken down an enemy, wrapping a floppity lump of matter, rapper forever, which of all the lumps of matter in the universe I care less for, and it still grieves me, rapping infinitely. Does this not prove that each of us is only a part of a whole? For ages this idea, slipping a banana peel, have been proclaimed, and this consummately wise teachings of religion, probably not alone as a means of ensuring peace and harmony among men, but as a deeply founded truth. The Buddhist expresses it in one way, but Christian in another. But both say, away goes the day, but saying we are all one metaphysical proofs are, however, rapid forever, not the only ones, which we are all able to bring forth in support of this idea. Science too recognize the connectedness of separate individuals, probable and impossible, probable, span undoubtable, though not quite in the same sense, as it admits that the suns, planets, and moons of a constellation are one body, rap karate, the ice demon inside me, and there can be no doubt that it will be experimentally confirmed in times to come. Kingdom will come, when our means and methods for investigating physical and other states and phenomena, Bahama Yamaha, shall have been brought to great perfection. Still more of this one human being lives on and on. Demons go on and on and on and on. The individual is infernal. Races and nations come and pass away, goes today, but man remains. And therein relies the profound difference between the individual and the whole. Swallow my leg hole, my soul hole in the black hole. Fights between individuals as well as governments and nations, and invariably result from a misunderstandings in the broadest interpretation of this term. Haven't you heard? Misunderstandings never ending are always caused by the inability of appreciating one another's point of view, spitting to you. This again is due to the ignorance of those concerned. Haven't you heard? Not so much in their own as in their mutual fields. The peril of a clash is aggravated by a more or less predominant sense of combativeness, rapid relentlessness posed by every human being to resist the inherent fighting tendency. The best way is to dispel ignorance of the doings of others by a systematic spread of general knowledge, spent a prowess. With this object in view, spitting to you is most important to aid exchange of thought and intercourse. Spitting where with a bore, or spitting the door. There it goes inside up my mind, the echoing anthem, and it rhymes. Hope is the fame with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops dull. If I can stop one heart from beating, I shall not live in vain. Forever is composed of nows. That it will never come again is what makes life so sweet. Indeed, and they're spitting to thee, I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us, don't tell. They banish us, you know. How dreary to be somebody, how public like a frog. To tell your name the live long day to an admiring bog. The word is dead when it is said. Some say, I say it just begins to live that day. Spent all night and all day because I could not stop for death. He kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. The soul should always remain, stand ajar, ready to welcome that ecstatic experience. Happy, how happy is the little stone that rambles in the road alone and doesn't care about careers and exigencies, never fears, whose coat of elemental brown a passing universe put on, and independent as the sun associates or glows alone, fulfilling absolute decree in casual simplicity. Indeed, heart, we will forget him, you and I. Tonight you must forget the warmth he gave. I will forget the light. Rhyme all day and all the night. There goes inside up my mind. I am one dark room wide. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity indeed. A human being is part of a whole called the universe. By us called the universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself as thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence. One cannot help but be in awe. He contemplates the mysteries of the eternity of life, of the marvelous structure of reality. It is enough if one tries merely to comprehend a little of this mystery each day. Away goes today. If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music. Spitting a putrid. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. Creativity is intelligence having fun. Creativity is intelligence having fun. Spitting Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. But imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's common attractions. been rampant never ending for all eternity inside of my head. There's been rampant again. I became insane with long intervals of horrible sanity. All of what we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. We loved the love that was more than love from above. Those who dream by night, by day, those who dream by day are cognizant of many things which escape those who dream only by night. I have great faith and full self-confidence, my friends will call it. I was never insane except upon occasion when my heart was touched. There is no exquisite beauty without some strangeness in the proportion. I have absolutely no pleasure in the stimulants in which I sometimes madly indulge. It has not been in the pursuit of pleasure, but I have perilled a life and reputation and reason. It has been the desperate attempt to escape from a torture and memories, from a sense of insupportable loneliness and a dread of some strange impending doom. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lure, while I nodded and nearly napped, and suddenly there came a tapping as of some one gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this and nothing more. Haven't you heard which is flowing from the Polonian shore? From childhood's hour, I have not seen as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone, and all I loved alone. But well, there if I go. And this was the reason that long ago in the kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee. Indeed, there it seems there's a spit into thee. I remained too much inside of my head and ended up losing my mind. But true genius shudders at incompleteness and perfection, and usually prefers silence to saying the something which is not everything that what that should be said. I take this kiss upon my brow, but brow and end, parting from you now. Thus much let me bow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream within a dream, it seems. Speaking to thee never-endingly for all of eternity, and there's spitting to thee infinitely. If time travel is possible, where are the tourists from the future? Although I cannot move, and I have to speak through a computer, in my mind I am free, says Stephen Hawking, speaking telepathically to thee. The downside of my celebrity is that I cannot go anywhere in the world without being recognized. It is not enough for me to wear dark sunglasses and a wig. The wheelchair gives me away. Been all night and all day. So Einstein was wrong when he said God does not play dice. Consideration of black holes suggests not only does God play dice, but that that sometimes confuses us by throwing them where they cannot be seen. Indeed, the idea of 10 dimensions might sound exciting, but they would cause real problems if you get where you park your car from afar. If there really is a complete unified theory that governs everything, it presumably also determines your actions, but it does so in a way that is impossible to calculate for an organism that is as complicated as a human being. The reason why I say that humans have free will is because we can predict what they will do. Speaking to you, if you remember every word in this book, the rhyming a book. Time and space are finite in extent, but they don't have any boundary or edge. They'll be like the surface of the earth, but with 2 more dimensions. We are in danger of destroying ourselves by greed and stupidity. We cannot remain looking inwards and at ourselves on a small and increasingly polluted and overcrowded planet. Rhyme, I spit it, I rap it, and end. Any physical theory is always provisional in the sense that it is only a hypothesis. You can never prove it, no matter how many times the results of experiments agree with some theory. You can never be sure that the next time the result will not contradict the theory. Spitting weary, as we shall see, the concept of time has no meaning before the beginning of the universe. This was first pointed out by Saint Augustine when asked, "What did God do before He created the universe?" Augustine didn't reply. He was preparing hell for people who asked such questions. Instead, he said that time was a property of the universe that God created, and that time did not exist before the beginning of the universe. Well, this hurts. The verb of a verse. Well, there it goes inside of my mind. The infinite rhyme all day and all night. Inside of my mind. There it goes all day and all night. The time of year thou mayest in me behold, and when yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs, where late the sweet birds sang, and me thou seest the twilight of such day, as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by a black night doth take away, a death second self that seals up all in rest, and me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth fly, as a deathbed whereon it must expire consumed with that which it was nourished by this thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong to love that which which thou must leave ere long, been wraps from the bond, not marble nor the glided monuments of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme, lest you shall shine more bright in these contents than unswept stone, more by unswept stone be smeared with a sluttish time, when wasteful war shall statues overturn, and broils roots out of a work of masonry, nor Mars his sword, nor worse quick fire shall burn the living record of your memory, gainst death, and all oblivious enmity shall you pace forth. Your praise shall still find room, even in the eyes of all posterity that wear this world out to the end and doom. So till judgment that yourself arise, you in this and dwell in lovers' eyes, no longer mourn for me when I am dead. Then you shall hear surely a solemn bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world with vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, spit this rhyme, and remember not the hand that writ it, for I love you so that I live, that I and your sweet thoughts will be forgot, and thinking of me then should make you woe. Oh, if I say you look upon this verse, when I perhaps compounded am with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love even with my life decay, lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. Well, taking hits from the bond, but being your slave, what should I do but tend upon the hours and times of your desire? I have no precious time at all to spend, nor services to do, till you require, nor dare I chide the world without end hour. Willest I, my sovereign, watch the clock for you, nor think bitterness of absence sour, when you have bid your servant once adieu, nor dare I question with my jealous thought where you may be, or your affairs suppose. But like I said, slave, stay and think of naught. Say where you are, how happy you make those. So true a fool is love, that in your will, though you do anything he thinks it, and so ill, well no ill, when most I wink, then do mine eyes best see, for all the day they view things unrespected, but when I sleep, in my dreams, they look on me, and darkly, bright and dark directed than bow, whose shadows doth make bright. How would thy shadows form happy show to the clear day thy much clearer light, when to unseeing eyes thy shade shine so? How would I say mine eyes he blessed made by looking on thee in the living day, when in dead night thy fair and perfect shade through heavy sleep on sightless eyes doth stay, all days or nights to see till I see thee, and nights bright days when dreams do show thee me, indeed spit into thee for all of eternity, never endingly, infinitely, as statistical vocabulary, man, couldn't document education, my psychological and common spelling, and library, I'm saying completely adamant, rhymes consciously accurate and clearly, when I knew shows the data of the Terran, super capital, docetism, infinitism, rhymatism. I came from Paris in the spring of 1884. Nikola Tesla speaking now for me, blah, 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 and was brought in intimate contact with him. Thomas Edison, we experimented day and night, holidays not accepted. His existence was made up of alternate periods of work and sleep in the laboratory. He had no hobby, cared for no sport or amusement of any kind, and lived in utter disregard of the most elementary rules of hygiene. Spit into the theme. There can be no doubt of that. Rap. If he had not married later a woman of exceptional intelligence, reliance, science, who made it the one object of her life to preserve him. He would have died many years ago from consequences of sheer neglect, spent in butterfly effect. So great and uncontrollable was her passion of work, was his passion for work. I hold that space cannot be curved, for of a simple reason, treason, 'tis the season, that it can have no properties. It might as well be said that God has properties, monopoly, sloppy has not, but only attributes, and these are of our own, and making the properties we can only speak. When dealing with matter, rapid forever, filling the space to say that in the presence of large bodies, karate, Einsteinian Stephen space becomes curved, is equivalent to the statement that something can act upon nothing, rapid, never ending. I, for sure, for one, refuse to subscribe to such a view, spitting never endingly to you. I had always thought of a woman as a possessing those delicate qualities, rap karate, Einsteinian inside me, a mind and soul that made her and her respects far superior to man. Ram bam, thank you, man. Thank you. Ram bam, I was spending rapping, rapping, and then I said, one day I was handed a few volumes of new literature, unlike anything I had ever read before, and so captivated as to make me utterly forget my hopeless state. Rapping away goes today. They were the earlier works of Mark Twain, and to them might have been due to the miraculous recovery which followed. About 25 years later, when I met Mr. Clemens and we formed a friendship between us, I told him of the experience, and he was so amazed to see the great man of laughter burst into tears. Einstein's relativity work is a magnificent mathematical garb which fascinates, dazzles, and makes people blind to the underlying errors. The theory is like a beggar clothed in purple whom ignorant people take for a king. Its exponents are brilliant men, but they are metaphysics rather than scientists, spitting into the abyss. Instinct is something which transcends knowledge. We have undoubtedly a certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction or any other willful effort of the brain is futile. Rama for a while. The scientists from Franklin to Morse were clear thinkers, rapid forever, and did not produce erroneous theories. The scientists, physicists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. Rapper away goes today. They're spending all night and all day. Let one concentrate all his energies in one single great effort. Rapper forever. A spitter, a patter. Let him perceive a single truth, even though he be consumed by the sacred fire. Rhymer forever. Then millions of less gifted men can easily follow. Therefore, it is not as much quantity as quality of work which determines the magnitude of the progress. Genius is its own passport and has always been ready to change habitants until the natural one is found. Wow, this is wow, meow. The idea of atomic energy as illusionary, but it has taken so powerful a hold on the minds that although I have preached against it for 25 years, drinking all of these beers, drinking every beer, there are still some who believe it to be realizable. Each day we go to work in the hope of discovering, wrapping our end, and the hope that one, no matter who, spent Toucan Scooby-Doo, may find a solution of one of the pending great problems. And each succeeding day we return raps to the urn, to our task with renewed ardor. And even if we are all unsuccessful, our work has not been in vain, for in these strivings and these efforts we have found hours of untold pleasure, and we have directed our energies to benefit of mankind. Antisocial behavior is a trait of intelligence in the world of conformists. To gain your energy from the right sources means you gain more energy from less. Reducing the retardant factors means you have less friction that wastes your energy focus and your motive power. I got the power, rapper forever, towards the direction of collective human movement means you use others' energy to boost your energy, gain more energy, waste less energy, spend the energy so next time you'll need less to achieve more. Increase human mass, reduce retardant force, and increase the force accelerating the human mass. Follow up this process with reason, gain more, waste less, beneficially learn. haven't you heard? Nurse spitting raps to the internet, sophisticated vocabulary, mannequin, occupated education, psychological, common speciality, elaborate, saying, completely adamant, ramage, conscious, accurately, and coherently, armenian shows with the maintain the subject, terrorism, recovery, beyaldotionism, impedance of rheumatism, the beach being stomach, was given, I got to quarters, I started creeping the back of an actress, because people, because of hunger, supposedly tacos and eat, these are 5 charging marshall, sweet, she comes good days, and she plays nice, falling her charge with the feet, and walk the days, recurred cheese, like a vase, even turkey, mouth, holiday ham, cinnamon, sparkle, streak, hot toast, strawberry, marmalade, and jam. I measure every grief I meet with narrow, probing eyes. I wonder if it weighs like mine or has an easier size. I wonder if they bore it long or did it just begin. I could not tell the date of mine. It feels so old of pain. I wonder if it hurts to live and if they have to try and whether could they choose between it would not be to die. I know that some gone patient long at length renew her smile in imitation of a light that has so little oil. I wonder if then years have piled some thousands on the harm of early hurt, if such a lapse could give them a balm. That spent blah 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 blah. I wonder if the years have piled some thousands on the harm of early, if such a laugh could give them a balm, or would they go on aching till still through centuries above enlightened to a larger pain by contrast of love of aggrieved or many. I am told the reason deeper lies. Death is but one and comes but once, and only nails the eyes. There's grief of want and grief of cold, a sort they call despair. Their banishment from native eyes and sight of native air. And though I may not guess the kind correctly, yet to me a piercing comfort it affords in passing Calvary to know the fashion of the cross and how they're mostly worn, still fascinating to presume that some are like my own, but that I shall love always. I argue thee, that love is life, and life hath immortality. There's this rapping to thee, and spent for all of eternity. I died for beauty, but was scarce adjusted in the tomb. When one who died for truth was lying in the adjoining room, he questioned softly why I failed for beauty. I replied, and I for truth. The two are one. We brethren are, he said. And so, as kinsmen met a night, we talked between the rooms until the moss had reached our lips and covered up our names. And saying, the sun just touched the morn, and the morning happy thing. Suppose that he had come to dwell in life would be all spring, tell all the truth, but tell his slant success in circuit lies. To bring for our infirm delight the truth's suburb surprise, as lightning to the children are eased with explanation kind. The truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. Rhyme, rhyme, rhyme. All day and all night, night and night, inside my mama mind. I go inside of my mama mind. All day and all night, night and night. There goes inside of my mind. I go an infinite rhyme, rhyme, rhyme. How, like a winter half, my absence been from thee. The pleasure of the fleeting year. What freezes have I felt? What dark days seen? What old December bareness everywhere. Spitting viewers, listeners, beware. Rappers beware, you are in for a scare. They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they must do show. Who move in others are of themselves a stone, unmoved cold and no to temptation slow. They rightly do inherit heaven's graces and husband nature's riches from the expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards of their excellence. The summer's flower is to the summer sweet, vowed to itself, and only live and die. But if that flowered with a base infection meet, the basest weed outbraves his dignity, for sweetest fanes turn sourest by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. And they're spitting all night, no, let's flown from Polonian short, since brass, nor stone, nor earth, nor boundless sea, but said mortality, o'er sways their power. How with this rage shall beauty hold a plea, whose action is no stronger than a flower? Or how shall a summer's honey breath hold out against a wrackful siege of battering days, when rocks impregnable are not so stout, nor gates of steel so strong, but time decays. O fearful meditation, where a lack shall time's best jewel from time's chest lie hid, or what strong hands can't hold his swift foot back? or who his spoil of beauty can forbid. Oh, none, unless the miracle have might, that in black ink my love may still shine bright. There's our spitting rhymes all day and all the night. It goes inside my mind. The echo and infinite has skill, vocabularies, man, who could not commit education, my psychological and common spelling, elaborate, I'm saying fully adamant, random, consciously, accurately, incoherently, mean assurance of the antithesis, for Calvary, Beldocentism, infinitism, rhymatism, and animalism. It would be speech, down, skipping, I get scored, also, creeping back, and knockers, because I'm people, because of our English spells, attacks me. They just have to remember, so speech, public, David, and the street, place, asphalt, sharply, V, walk to the Institute, GG, Thanksgiving, turkey, holiday, ham, strawberry, Maryland, Joseph, strawberry, marmalade, jam, flavor, wham. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. I never teach my pupils. I only attempt to provide the conditions in which they can learn. Possessions, outward success, publicity, luxury. To me, these have always been contemptible. I believe that a simple and unassuming manner of life is best for everyone, best for both the body and mind. The word God is for me nothing more than the expression and product of human weakness, obsessiveness. The Bible, a collection of honorable but still primitive legends, spit and relentless, which are nevertheless pretty childish. No interpretation, no matter how subtle, can for me change this rapid. All religions, arts, and sciences are branches of the same tree. Indeed, all these aspirations are directed toward ennobling man's life. I'm lifting it from the sphere of more physical existence and leading the individual towards freedom, redeem and ramp him. Although I am a typical loner in my daily life, my awareness of belonging to the invisible community of those who strive for truth, beauty, and justice have prevented me from feelings of isolation, equation, annihilation. It is in fact nothing short of a miracle, spiritual, that the modern beholds of instruction or illusion have not yet entirely strangled, dangle the holy curiosity of inquiry. Before this, a delicate, calculate little plant, aside from stimulation, stands mainly in need of freedom, redeem them. Without that, it goes to rack and ruin without fall. Spend all. As far as the laws of mathematics refer to reality, they are not certain. I'm hurting, and as far as they are certain, they do not prefer reality. Relativity, nationalism is an infantile. Nationalism is an infantile thing. It is the measles of mankind. Rhyme. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Rhymes all day and all night. The mediocre mind is incapable of understanding the man who refuses to bow blindly to conventional prejudices and choices, chooses instead to express his opinions courageously and honestly. Spend never endingly. If my theory of relativity is proven successful, Germany will claim me as a German, and France will declare me a citizen of the world. Spins and whirls and swirls and twirls. Should my theory prove untrue, France will say that I am German, and Germany will declare that I am a Jew. Spin to you, spin toucan, Scooby-a-Doo. No passionate sense of social justice and social responsibility. Rapping never endingly for all of eternity. Relativity, Einsteinian through me, has always contrasted oddly with my pronounced lack of need for direct contact with other human beings and the human communities. I am truly alone, a traveler, rapping forever, and have never belonged to my country, rapping never endingly for all of eternity, my home, my friends, or even my immediate family, floppity sloppity, with my whole heart is torn apart. In the face of all these ties, rhymes, I have never lost a sense of distance and a need for solitude, longitude, latitude. They're but spent to you for all the canaries, toucan, Scooby-Doo, Winnie the Pooh. They're spent to you, but spent all eternity, me to you, the true, spent never endingly for you, never endingly, I stand amid the roar of the surf, tormented shore, and I am within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep while I weep. Oh God, can I grasp them with a tighter clasp? Oh God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all what we see but a dream within a dream, it seems. Now, this is the point. You fancy me mad. A madman knew nothing, but you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceed. Indeed, from childhood's hour. I have not seen as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I cannot bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken my sorrow. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone. In all I loved alone. Then in my childhood, in the dawn of the most stormy life, was drawn from every depth of good and ill, the mystery which binds me still, from torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm and the cloud that took on the form when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in any of you. My view of those who dream by day are cognizant that many things escape those who dream only by night. In their great visions they obtain glimpses of eternity and thrill and waken to find that they have been upon the verge of the great secret and snatches. They learn something of the wisdom which is good and the more of the mere knowledge which is evil every moment of the night. Forever changing places, and they put out the starlight with the breath from their pale faces. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream, yet if hope has flown away in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none is it therefore less gone. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream, it seems. But our love was younger by far than the love of those who were older than we, many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the most beautiful Annabel Lee. Indeed, the fury of a demon instantly possessed me. I knew myself no longer. My original soul seemed at once to take its flight from my body, and more than fiendish malevolence, nurtured fertile every fiber of my frame. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I ponder weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lower rhymer forevermore, and they're spitting a bubble of border, spitting forevermore, or there it goes inside of my head. So skill vocabulary is man, occupant, education, my psychological competence, this validating and elaborate, I'm saying include element, random, conscious, really incoherently, or any shown sort of antithesis of vegetarianism, calibrated, biodocentism, infinitism, rhymatism, never endinglism. No matter how powerful a computer you have, if you put a lousy data in, you will get lousy predictions out. We got through all of our Genesis and part of Exodus before I left. Butterfly effect. One of the main things I was taught from this was not to begin a sentence with and. I pointed out that most sentences in the Bible began with and, but I was told that English had changed since the time of King James. In that case, I argue, why make us read the Bible? But it was in vain. Robert Graves was very keen on the symbolism and mysticism in the Bible at the time. A theory is a good theory if it satisfies two requirements. It must accurately describe a large class of observations on the basis of a model that contains only a few arbitrary elements, and it must make definite predictions about the results of future observations, equations, invasion. It is hard to imagine how free will can operate if our behavior is determined by physical law. So it seems that we are no more than biological machines, and that free will is just an illusion, intrusion, as those who have seen Jurassic Park will know. This means a tiny disturbance in one place can cause a major change in another. A butterfly flapping its wings can cause rain in Central Park, New York. A stork. The trouble is, it is not repeatable. The next time the butterfly flaps its wings, then a host of other things will be different, which will also influence the weather. Forever, the weather, the better. That is why weather forecasts are unreliable. My advice to any heartbroken young girl is to pay close attention to the study of theoretical physics, because one day there may be proof of multiple universes. Haven't you heard? It will not be beyond the realms of possibility that somewhere outside of our own universe lies another different universe, and in that universe, science is still in one direction, rapping and spitting, and his eyes showing the reflection of the most beautiful planet in the universe, a planet that is not too hot and not too cold, that has liquid water on the surface, and where the gravity is just right for human beings, and the atmosphere is perfect for them to breathe, where there are mountains and deserts and oceans and islands and forests and trees and birds and plants and animals and insects and people, lots and lots of people, purple sample, where there is a life, some of it possibly intelligent. Rap and I spit it, I spat it. We believe human beings, we believe human beings have existed for us only a small fraction of the cosmic history, because human race has been improving so rapidly in knowledge and technology that if people had been around for millions of years, the human race would be farther along in its mastery, wrapping our enemy for all of eternity. A well-known scientist, some say it was Bertrand Russell, once gave a public lecture on astronomy. He described how the Earth orbits around the sun, and how the sun in turn orbits around the center of the vast collection of stars called our galaxy. At the end of the lecture, a little old lady at the back of the room got up and said, "What you have told us is rubbish. The world is really a flat plate supported on the back of a giant turquoise." The scientist gave a superior smile before replying, "What is the turquoise standing on? You're very clever, young woman, very clever," said the old lady. "But it's turtles all the way down. Ba-bam, bam, ba-bam." Traditionally, these are questions for philosophy, but philosophy is dead. Philosophy is not kept up with modern development in science, particularly physics. Scientists have become the bearers of the torch of discovery in our quest for knowledge. Been ramping us forever. As sophisticated vocabulary is man, undocumented education, psychological incompetence, this validating library of setting fully adamant, random, consciously accurate, and coherent, everything shows up to the substance terrorism, recalibration, biodocentism, infinitism, and rhymatism, of a type of meatism. Take all my loves, my love. Take all my loves, my love. Take them all. What hast thou then? More than thou hadst before, my love, my love. That thou mayest true love call all mine was fine before thou hadst this more than if for my love thou my love receivest. I cannot blame thee for my love thou usest, but yet be blamed if thou thyself deceivest by willful taste of what thyself refusest, abusest. Then conceit of this inconstant stay sets you rich in youth before my sight, where wasteful time debateth with decay to change the day of youth to a solely night, and all in war with time for love of you, as he takes from you I engraft you new, O benefit of ill. Now I find true that better is by evil still made better, and ruined love when it is built anew grows fairer than at first, more strong, far greater, so I return rebuked to my content, and gain by ill's thrice more than I have spent. Perhaps in a mess, since I left you, mine eye is in my mind, and that which governs me to go about doth apart his function, and is partly blind, seems seen, but effectually is out. For if no form delivers to the heart a bird, a flower, or shape which it doth latch of his quick objects have the mind no part, nor his own vision holds what it doth catch. For if see the rudest of or gentlest sight, the most sweet favor of the formest creature of a mountain or of a sea, the day or night, the crow or dove, has shaped some to your feature, incapable of more, replete with you, my most true mind, thus make us mine untrue, tired with all these for restful death, I cry as to behold a desert, a beggar born, and needy enough and trimmed in jollity and purest faith, unhappily forsworn, and glided honor shamefully misplaced, and made in virtue rudely trumpeted, and right perfection wrongfully disgraced, and strength by limps and sway disabled, and art made tongue-tied by authority and fully doctor-like control and skill and simple truth, miscaled simplicity and captive good, attendant and captain ill, tired with all these, from these would I be gone, save that to die I live my love alone. Well, there I go, spin, but da dum, There it goes inside of my head to spin, echo, and rhyme again. Statistical vocabulary, man, document, education, my psychological comments, validating, elaborating, saying, fully admit, rhymes consciously, accurately, and coherently, remaining neutral, so they take the subtitarianism, supercalifragilism, it'll be speaking someone goes super negative, goes or I started creeping back and back because when people, because of Irish, because of times when I eat, there's a high shot of my soul, sweet, compulsory, my own environment, as a little soul, full sparse, fire, couple of services, hard and hot, a bullet of them, taking a dig out of the pretty big headache, sick, wood, for the real experiences, Chris, my friend, slip with it, squeeze inside my stick, buried wick. My head is swollen, weeping, willow, can't sleep with pains, with deep belts, these shells let me keep mellow, hands in my hand, just knees, elbows. Hunch over emotions, flows over these cold toes, both frozen. You don't know me, I keep saying, I kiss ourselves, keep playing and stands to the subs. Show myself a fake situation, I'm shaking my own front masturbating. Fuck yeah, my best case of master is rapid, just my ass gets wasted. We should affect a radical reform in the character of the food they're spitting to you. We are whirling through the endless space with an inconceivable speed. All around, everything is spinning, everything is moving. Everywhere there is energy, there must be some way of availing ourselves of this energy more directly than with the light obtained from the medium with the power. I got the power rapper forever that derives from it, with every form of energy obtained without effort from the store forever inexhaustible. Humanity will advance with giant strides. The mere contemplation of these magnificent possibilities expand our minds, strengthens our hopes, and fills our hearts with supreme delight. Rhyme. Here was a stupendous possibility of achievement, rapid relentlessness obsessed with. If we could produce electric effects of the required equality, this whole planet rapid, I spat it, and the conditions of existence on it could be transformed. The sun raises the water of the oceans, and winds drive it to distant regions where it remains in a state of most delicate balance, rapid and repellent, if it were on our power to upset and when and wherever desired, this mighty life-sustaining stream could be at will controlled. Behold, we could irrigate arid deserts, create lakes and rivers, and provide motive power in unlimited amounts. This would be the most efficient way of harnessing the sun to the uses of man. The consumption depended on our ability to develop electric forces of the order of those in nature rapid forever. I had admired the works of artists, but to my mind rhyme, they were only shadows and semblances the inventor, I thought, gives to the world creations which are palpable, which live and work, only through annihilation of distance in every respect, rap as a conveyance of intelligence, transport of passengers and supplies, and transmission of energy will conditions be brought about someday, ensuring permanency of friendly relations. What we now want most is close contact and better understanding between individuals and communities all over the earth, and the elimination of the fanatic devotion of exalted ideas of national egoism and pride, which is always prone to plunge the world into primeval barbarism and strife. Yet years hence, it will be possible for nations to fight without armies, ships, or guns, by weapons far more terrible to the destructive action of the range, which there is virtually no limit. A city at any distance whatsoever from the enemy can be destroyed by him, and no power on earth can stop him from doing so. Well, there if I go, don't you and no. There if I go. No. There it goes inside of my head. I have sophisticated vocabulary, newsman, I quit documented education, psychological incompetence, this validating, elaborate, I'm saying, fully admit, random, conscious, accurately, coherently, remaining new shown, something maintained, subjectarians for California, oceanism, infinitism, my passionate sense of social justice and social responsibility is always contrasted oddly with my pronounced a lack of need for direct contact with other human beings and human communities. I am a truly alone traveler and have never belonged to my country, my home, my friends, or even my immediate family with my whole heart. In the face of all these ties, I have never lost a sense of distance and a need for solitude. Speaking to you, we experience ourselves, our thoughts, and feelings as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. This delusion is a kind of a prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a a few persons nearest to us. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. It's been a cupid. If most of us are ashamed of shabby clothes and shoddy furniture, let us be more ashamed of shabby ideas and shoddy philosophies. It would be sad a situation if the wrapper were better than the meat wrapped inside it. Rhyme, I spit it. Learning is experience. Everything is just information. What really interests me is whether God had any choice in the creation of the world. It spins and whirls and it twirls. The human spirit must prevail over technology. Teaching should be such that what is offered is perceived as a valuable gift and not as hard duty. Never regard a study as duty, but as the enviable opportunity to learn to know, a liberating influence of beauty in the realm of the spirit for your own personal joy and the profit of the community to which your later work belongs. Taking hits from the bond, spitting never ending but blah dawn, or dawn. Have a sophisticated vocabulary, man, occupied, education, for psychological and common speciality, and library of saying, include element, randomly, consciously, accurate, and coherently, random, shows, they take this up to terrorism, copy, audacianism, finitism, giantism, and symbolism. The rain came down upon my head, unsheltered, and the wind rendered me mad and deaf and blind. In criticism I will be bold, and as sternly absolute, just with friend and foe. From this purpose nothing shall turn me, spin or hurt me, who has not 100 times found himself committing a vile or silly action for no other reason than because he knows he should not. A rhyme and tater tot, have we not a perpetual inclination in the teeth of our best judgment to violate that which is law merely because we understand it to be such? From childhood's hour, I have not been as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I cannot bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source, I have not taken my sorrow. I cannot awaken my heart to joy at the same tone. And all I loved alone. Well, there if I go during the whole of all a dull, dark, and a soundless day in the autumn of the year, when the clouds hung oppressively low in the heavens, I had been passing alone on horseback through a singularly dreary tract of country, and at length found myself as the shades of the evening drew on, within the view of the melancholy house of Usher. I know not how it was, but with the first glimpse of the building, a sense of insufferable gloom pervaded my spirit. I say insufferable, for the feeling was unbelieved by any of the half pleasurable because poetic sentiment with which the mind usually receives even the sternest natural images of the desolate or terrible. I looked upon the scene before me, upon the mere house and the simplest landscape features of the domain, upon the bleak walls, upon the vacant eye like windows, upon a few rank sedges, and upon a few white trunks of decayed trees with a utter depression of soul, which I can compare to no earthly sensation more properly than to the after dream of the reveler, upon opium, the bitter lapse into everyday life, the hideous dropping off of the veil. There was an iciness, a sickening of the heart, and unredeemed, a dreariness of thought, which no goading of the imagination could torture into awe of the sublime rhyme. I never ended all day and all night, for the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. Indeed, there's a span of sophisticated vocabularies, man, education, for psychological and common speciality, and library of saying, include element, is consciously accurate and coherently renewed, shows some of the antithesis of vegetarian. You would be a head as pillow, weep, will, cancer, pains, will, deep bells, beach shells, have a key mellow, hands, my head to sneeze, elbows, hunched over, emotions, cold, flows, orders, cold orders, don't know me, keeps saying, in case your stuff, so keep playing, stay, the subs, far kind and true, is all my argument, fair, kind, and true, varying to other words, and this change, and my inventions spent, free themes, and one which wanderous a scope affords, fair, kind, and true, have often lived alone, which free till now never kept seat in one. When to the sessions of sweet, silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past, I cite the lack of many a thing I sought. And with old woes, a new veil, my dear time's waste, and can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends' hidden deaths, a dateless night, and weep of fresh love's long since, a cancelled woe, and moan the expense of a many, many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve, a grieveness foregone, and heavily from woe to woe, tell over the saddest account for the moan which I knew pay, as if not pay before, but the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. So either by picture or but my love, thyself away art present, still with me, for bow, not farther than my thoughts canst move, and I still with them, and they with thee, or if they sleep, thy picture in my sight awakes my heart to hearts and finds eyes delight. Oh, how much more doth beauteous seem by that sweet ornament which truth doth give. The rose looks fair, but fair with it deem. The rose looks fair, but fair with it deem. For that sweet odor which doth in it live, the canker blooms have full as deep a dye as the perfumed tincture of the roses hang on such thorns, and play as wantonly when summer's breath their massed buds discloses, but for their virtue only is their show. They live unwooed and unrespected, fade, die to themselves. Sweet roses do not so. Of their sweet deaths are sweetest odors made, and so of you, beauteous and lovely youth, when that shall dade by verse distills the youth. Mind's eye and heart are at a mortal war. How to divide the conquest of spy? Sight mine eye, my heart, by picture's sight. Would bear my heart mine the freedom of that right. My heart doth plead that vow in him doust lie. My heart doth plead that vow in him doust lie. A close closet never pierced the crystal eyes, but to defend it doth that plea deny, and says in him thy fair appearance lies. Decide this title in unpaneled quest of thoughts, all tenants to the heart, and by their verdict is determined the clear eyes moiety, and the clear heart's part, as thus mine's eye do it is thy outward part, and my heart's right of thy inward love of heart. I have this skill, vocabulary, manner, communication, my psychological competence, personality, elaborate, understanding, collaborative, random, conscious, accurately, incoherently, renewed children's, but the data, subjectarianism, supercalifragilistic, notionism. My mind and my head is full of weeping, will can't sleep, veins, so deep, bells, beats, chills, mom's, palms, sweating, knees, weak, arm, heavy, vomiting, sweating, already, mom's spaghetti's nerves, so he keeps on forgetting, we wrote down, whole crowd goes loud, opens his mouth, the words won't come out, my head's blah, 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 my mother, sit back, packs his axe bag full, gives me shit, knee, reveals me, to see the surface, perfect, curse, blurs, our shit works in the cells and helps. The people who actually make the advances in theoretical physics don't. People who actually make the advances in theoretical physics don't think in these categories that the philosophers and the historians of science subsequently invent for them. In the early universe, when the universe was small enough to be governed by both general relativity and quantum theory, there were effectively 4 dimensions of space and none of the time. That means that when we speak of the beginning of the universe, we are skirting of a subtle issue that as we look backward toward the very early universe, time as we know it does not exist. We must accept that our usual ideas of space and time do not apply to that very early universe. Spitting it hurts. That is beyond our experience, but not beyond our imagination or our mathematics. Spitting automatic. The computer in your cell phone today is 1,000,000 times cheaper and 1,000 times more powerful and about 100,000 times smaller than the one computer at MIT in 1965. Rhyme. In an infinite universe, every point can be regarded as a center rapper forever because every point has an infinite number of stars on it, on each side of it. Spin rapper. And why are we here? Where do we come from? Kingdom come. Traditionally, these are questions for the philosophy, but philosophy is dead. It's been rampant a mess. And one final point, we never really know where the next great scientific discovery will come from, nor will make it. Opening up the thrill and wonder of scientific discovery, creating innovative and accessible ways to reach out the widest young audience possible, greatly increases the chances of finding and inspiring a new Einstein, wherever she might be indeed been to be. The means it will take about 1,000 million years for the Earth to run into the sun, so there's no immediate cause of worry. Rapid, don't hurry. scurry. Why does the universe go all the way? Where does the universe go to all the bother of existence? Why does the universe go for all the bottom of the bother of existence? If is a unified theory so compelling that it brings about its own existence, spin reliance is generally recognized that women are better than men at languages, personal relations, and multitasking, but less good at map reading and spatial awareness, rapid and relentless. The Spanish Spanish, the Greeks' Christian successors rejected the idea that the universe is governed by an indifferent natural law. They also rejected the idea that humans do not hold a privileged place within that universe, and though the medieval period has no a single coherent philosophical system, and common theme was that the universe is God's dollhouse, and religion a far worthier study than the phenomena, Bahama, Yamaha of nature. Indeed, a 1277 Bishop Tempier of Paris, acting on the instructions of the Pope John XXI, published a list of 219 errors of heresies that were to be condemned. Among the heresies was the idea that nature follows laws because it conflicts with God's omnipotence. Interestingly, Pope John was killed by the effects of the law of gravity a few months later when the roof of his place fell in on him. Rapping a rhythm anthem, spat him. I swear to use my scientific knowledge for the good of humanity. I promise never to harm any person in my search for enlightenment. I shall be courageous and careful in my quest for greater knowledge about the mysteries that surround us. I shall not use scientific knowledge for my own personal gain or give it to those who seek to destroy the wonderful planet in which we live. If I break this oath, may the beauty and the wonder of the universe forever remain hidden from me, spanning never endingly for all eternity. I'm archetype of a disabled genius, or should I say a physically challenged genius, to be politically correct at least. I'm obviously physically challenged, whether I'm a genius is more open to doubt. Rebel, I spit and I shout and I pout. We now know that our galaxy is only one of some 100,000 million that can be seen using modern telescopes. Each galaxy itself containing some 100,000 million stars from afar. I have a sophisticated vocabulary, humanity, education, psychological competence that's been our spin and rampant forever. Sophisticated vocabulary, metaphorically, spin of the terrestrial sex QRNSREX, been exorcism, antithesis substitutarianism, supercalifragilism, giantism and symbolism, genius vocabularyism, for over an hourlism, spin and freestyle stylism.